Hello and welcome to another English podcast with Paul. Welcome, welcome, one and all. So make yourself comfortable, get yourself a full cup of tea and settle down and all just relaxed. So, welcome back, those that are returning and subscribers. And if you're new here, then welcome. Please tell your friends if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, keep stum. All right, okay. So, I got some images, and hopefully we're going to talk about them a little bit. And I think you'll really enjoy it. This is about TV, like films and TV shows with transport in it. Transport, all right? So cars, buses, trains, things like that. Some of them are ridiculous, some of them are very old. So let's have a look what we've got. Let's have a look at this list. I think I've got about 20 here. I think I've got about 20. Okay, so here we go. We got, bear with me just a second. It takes a moment to click over. There we go. So, Back to the Future. I'm sure many of you have seen Back to the Future. It's very popular, very popular. It's been going for quite some time. The franchise, three different films. It's been going for quite a while. Very fun and engaging. Obviously, it's about the future. So let's have a look at the picture. What picture do we have? So you've seen that one. All right, there it is. Okay. There we go. So this is just a snapshot off the internet. Back to the Future. Right. Can I remember? Can I remember the next one? That's the question. Can I remember the next one? Or if I know how to move it along to the next one. That's a different thing altogether, isn't it? Right. Okay. So what have we got next? Okay. Speed. All right. Excellent. That's not it. That's the wrong one. How bizarre. How bizarre. Maybe I can only can control it when it's the right way along. Ah, these my computer's a bit slow. I think it's a bit tired. There we go. That's it. Speed. The need for speed. Okay. So right. Well, let's go back. Let's go back one. And we're getting carried away. So Back to the Future, kind of like the 80s, quintessential, exciting, and then adrenaline and futuristic. Back to the Future. I really enjoyed it as a young lad. It was really good. Um, yeah, exciting, big budget, lots of bright colours and exciting things going on. A really good storyline for back then as well. Really good storyline. All right. Then we've got Speed. I think this was like the late 90s, and it's a run on from. Not a run on. There's another one after this, and this one is about a bus, and it's got a bomb inside the bus. And if the speed goes below, I think it's 50 miles an hour, then it's going to blow up and everybody on it's going to die. And the main character, I think it's Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. All right, two very big film stars. So that's the interesting one. So that's a bus. So we've had a car that goes back, that goes to the future, space car, futuristic car, and now we've had a bus. All right, what's the next one on the list here? All right, so we've got all right, John Candy. Um, People are going to tell me I'm forgetting his name wrong. Um, I'll think of it in a minute. So this is called Plane, Trains and Automobiles. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. And it's a story of a man that has to get home to his family. And he's having to like hitchhike and get a bus and the train and all sorts of problems. Again, early 90s, maybe late, yeah, between 90s and early 20s. I'd say it's probably like 1998. Maybe I should have done some more research. So that was very exciting. That was very good. I like that one a lot. Um, so a lot of good memories, a lot of happy memories. I really enjoyed it. All right. So what have we got next? Next we've got. It didn't move along. Move along, Mister. Move along. Okay. Why has it not moved along? Um, that one there. Hopefully move. There we go. Okay. Um, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Not very technical savvy on this, am I? I'm a bit slow. Fast and the Furious. There we go, with Vin Diesel. Fast and the Furious and the original gang. Paul Walker, unfortunately, passed away in a car accident. Nothing related to this. I think he was a passenger. But and Vin Diesel and all the other original crowd. All right, who else we got then? So then we go. I've got the same picture again, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. But what was in my list? What was in my list? Can we see that? Move that across to there. And then we'll go back to that one. Sorry. Fast and the Furious. It seems to be stuck in a loop. There we go. Knight Rider. Wow. Now, this was definitely the 80s. And if you don't know already, this is the infamous David Hasselhoff. David the Hoff. One of the most exhilarating and exciting characters on TV. I think nowadays he does he's on one of the TV shows like America's Got Talent or something like that. But everybody used to love David Hasselhoff. Really great character, and he was in a few other films as well. So yeah, just a great throwback to memories as a child. Now this is a lot more modern. This is sort of 2010 plus, and it's an animation of anthropomorphized. Try saying that when you're drunk. Anthropomorphized planes, which give them the characteristics of human beings, like facial expressions and emotions, things like that. Now we'll get on in a moment to one called Cars. That was the original, and the main character was Lightning McQueen, and that name was based on Steve McQueen, or there's some link to Steve McQueen because he was an exciting actor back in the 60s and 70s. Okay, so this is called Planes. A good animation, ideal for children, but not really my sort of thing. Not my cup of tea, you might say. Now, this is the Italian job. I prefer the original with Michael Caine. All right, you ready? I'm not very good at impressions, but this is my impression, right, from Michael Caine. What he says in the film, and he says, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off." And this is because somebody used explosions to open the bank vault. That they stole some money, and they drove around in Mini Coopers. You know, like I said in one of the other videos, British engineering Mini Coopers, and they went through like the tunnels under the city. And it was quite an exciting film, even back then for like the late 70s. Very exciting, very exciting. Good film, you should watch it. All right, now this one is more again in the 70s, late 70s, called Airplane. I want to say Leslie Nielsen. That's it, Leslie Nielsen. It's a really, really unusual humor. It's very dry and very slapstick. Lots of silly comedy, you know, and you can listen to a lot of it in what he says. So, for example, he might say, "Cover me," and then somebody chuck a blanket over him. So instead of covering him, you know, like help keep him protected with your gun, they literally throw a blanket over it. So it's very literal in some of the things they say. And he says, you know, "Can I be frank?" Which is a phrase meaning, can I be honest and direct with you? And so he says this in the film, "Can I be frank?" And I was like, "No, you're so-and-so, like somebody, like everybody else. You know, you're not that name, Frank. You're actually somebody else." And what's the other one? He says, "Surely not." And he says, "My name's not Shirley." Again, Shirley is a shortened, contracted version of surely not. So lots of silliness in that one. Very dry and quite easy to understand. Quite easy. I like that one. All right. Mad Max. Okay, Mad Max. Now, Mad Max is a type of film that's a bit more gritty and dark there's not so much speaking in it, but it's very dark. I'm not saying it's very dark, but at the time it seemed quite dark, very futuristic, apocalyptic, you might say, you know. And yeah, it was good at its time, but now it's not so good. And I think they've made like 4 of them in the franchise. So yeah, it was quite interesting back then. Quite interesting. All right, let's look at the next one. My computer's a bit slow today, so apologies. There we go. Right. So, what else we got? Oh, it's gone back to the beginning again. Why does it do that? It should stay where we are. Maybe that was my fault. Okay. Knight Rider, planes, Italian Job, airplane, Mad Max. Polar Express. Now, the Polar Express had Tom Hanks as the voice of one of the characters. So yes, it's an animation, and it's like a Disney film, very soft and gentle about the story of a child, and Christmas and things like that. It's not my cup of tea, but my children enjoyed it. Now, oh my goodness, most people would say that Samuel L. Jackson doesn't make a bad film. But trust me, this is a terrible film. Terrible film. Really, the humor and some of the things that happen is just it's pathetic. If you want to laugh and joke and skip through it and see Samuel L. Jackson in one of the worst films ever, Snakes on the Plane has to be the one. It is awful film, awful. Snakes on the Plane. All right, what's this one? Now, you know, I mentioned Steve McQueen earlier. This is the film. Now, I always thought it was Bullet, but it's not. It's a Bull Lit. Bull Lit. Spelt differently. And it's very famous for the car chases around, I think it was San Francisco. Some really, really pioneering and trailblazing like cinematography and camera action. It's very well made for the time and the era that it was about. Okay, and what we got here? Again, this is an animation. Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, it's been around a long time. I would say it's been around for over 20, all right, maybe 20 years. Animation, again, anthropomorphized model train and the characters and the stories. Very good for children, especially young children, because it's very gentle storylines, very, very easy. Okay, now again, Speed 2. This time it's a bit more ridiculous and a bit silly. I think now they're on a cruise ship. Now, how you can make a speed film about a cruise ship, I really don't know. It's not as good, I would say. Not as good. But you be the judge. Let me know in the comments what you think. You watch the film, tell me if you think it was amazing or if you think it was pretty shoddy. Pretty shoddy. All right. Shoddy means like bad workmanship. Badly made. All right. What's this one? Unstoppable. See, I haven't actually seen this film. I don't know this film. But it looks pretty terrible, I must say. This really takes me back to my childhood now. The A-Team. They were amazing, right? The A-Team were in the 80s, and lots of men nowadays, but children then were really excited that these group of reprobates, and that's people with a bit of a checkered history, bit of an unconventional history, came together through the military, and they sort of all got kicked out in the military, and they come together. But it's, like I say, this is in the 80s, so it's quite fun and chilled and a bit silly, all right? It's ideal for young teenagers. And these guys help people with their problems, whether it's like gangs and other baddies, and they design things and they always get captured and then they break their way out, and they're always really good. There's a more modern day film, I think, from the early 2010s with Rampage Jackson, a UFC fighter, and a few other really big famous people in it, famous names. And I feel bad, I can't remember them now, top of my head. But the A-Team really goes back to my childhood. It was a really good show to watch every week. It was a lot of fun. Everybody enjoyed it. It was really good, really good. Okay, let's moving on. Oh, have I lost it altogether now? All right, let's see what happens now if I switch it over. No, we've gone back to the beginning again. Back to the beginning. Oh, here we go. Right, okay. Oh, yeah, A-Team. Okay, so then we've got cars. This is what I mentioned earlier. Lightning McQueen is the name of the main character, the red car. And he was a bit big-headed and a bit cheeky and naughty. And then he came across the police and had some trouble. And then he makes amends and he becomes a good person again. And it's a feel-good film. I'm pretty sure it's like Disney or Pixar. Yeah, I think maybe Pixar. And lots of children bought a lot of merchandise with like lunch bags. So merchandise is things that you would use at home with the picture of your favorite TV character or your favorite band. All right, it's stuff that's got somebody else's picture on it. So lots of lunch boxes were sold with this film. It's one of the first sort of Pixar films to come out, or Disney films to come out, that was really exciting, engaging, and anthropomorphizing again with the characters and the faces and that. So it was really good, feel good. It was a massive success. It went really well with the kids, so it was good. Anthropomorphizing. Yeah, I think if I say it quickly, it's not so bad. All right, okay, what's next? Right, Cannibal. Again, late 70s, early 80s. Showing my age now. Late 70s, early 80s. Again, a cheeky character, Burt Reynolds, and his sidekick, trying to make it through this big famous race. Lots and lots of sports cars, like Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and lots of quirky cars, lots of characters. A little bit saucy at times. Now, when we say it's a little bit saucy, we mean it's a little bit sexy. The intonation and the attitude of some of the characters. Maybe they have a low cut top on and they showing a lot of cleavage. All right, so it's a little bit saucy, but yeah, good film back in its day. Cannonball Run, lots and lots of good cars in it. Now, most people have heard of Top Gear. Top Gear is very, very famous throughout the world now. Lots of people like it. Lots of people have seen it. Lots of people use it, and it's got a good reputation for three idiots messing around, having a lot of fun. And now it's kind of like cultural now. It's been in the on British TV for a long time. Everybody knows the characters, even if you don't watch the show. Here in the UK, you probably know the names of these three characters, and they've done some classic silly stuff, entertainment that's kept us laughing our heads off over the decades. I think they've been at it a long time. So Top Gear, they talk about cars and regular cars and sports cars. It's a really good show, especially if you're a bloke. And like I say, they've been around for a long time. Everybody knows them. Since they've left the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, and they've gone over to Amazon sort of the last 4 or 5 years and built up another show on there. I think that was called The Grand Tour, something like that. I think that's on Amazon. But those characters, those people are really well known, and they use a lot of cars in there. But I'll give you a couple of honourable mentions of a couple of other shows. There's Phileas Fogg, and I think there's a couple of films of Phileas Fogg, and Around the World in 80 Days. So he goes around the world in 80 days in a hot air balloon or on a train, and all sorts of other different types of automobiles. Phileas Fogg. There's also more serious, like a documentary by what's his name now? One of the guys from Monty Python. Michael Palin. That's it. Yay. Well done, brain. Woo. Michael Palin. He also did something like Around the World in 80 Days and on a train. So we do, us British do like a good train story. Lots of train stories. There are obviously lots of other films out there with other transport, such as such as a Zeppelin. So that's those great big balloons filled up with helium, and you can have like I don't know, like a pod where people stay in underneath. Not to be confused with a hot air balloon. All right, what else? Do we have anything else? Another really good one is The Taking of Feltham 123. The Taking of Feltham 123. And that's John Travolta. That's a really good film. Quite serious, bit of a thriller. And there's another famous character in there as well. It wasn't Samuel L. Jackson. Was it Morgan Freeman? I can't remember. There's another famous character in it as well. But yeah, Taking of Feltham 123. And then the last one I would recommend would be, I think it's Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks. Again, serious film, but very interesting. And that is a big ocean liner, a big boat, big ship. And they sort of get kidnapped. But that's really interesting as well. That's really, really interesting. I like that film a lot. So that's just a quick rundown of 20 films that I've seen that I like, apart from that one, with modes of transport, planes, trains, and things like that, and cars. There is another one, actually, of a motorbike that's the main, well, there was Street Hawk, actually, back in the 80s. And there was Knight Rider, Street Hawk, Blue Thunder. I think that was a helicopter. Blue Thunder, yeah. There was one more I was going to mention, and I can't remember it. So maybe I'll save that for next time. So if you've got a favourite mode of transport, and there's a film about it or a TV show about it, let me know in the comments. What's your favourite mode of transport? And what's your favourite film? All right, let me know in the comments below. Okay, that's it for today. Going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.